Welcome to our weekly market analysis. In today's video, we're going to be going into some possible case scenarios that we'll look to capitalize on in the coming week. So the first market that we're going to get into is the DXY, and we can see from a daily perspective on the DXY that the market created this recent low here, and after that we created this high. And ever since we created these two zones, we've essentially just been stuck within these two zones. So currently the DXY is in a range. Going down to the 4 hour, we notice that the market has been trending down in the most recent price action. So as long as price remains below this trend line, we will still consider this to be in a downtrend. And so our next possible buying opportunity would be if we see a break and a close above this level. Let's just do this. If we see a break and a close above this level, followed by a retest, which is where we will be looking for our next opportunity to long. So the next market that we're going to have a look at is EURUSD, and we can already see from a 4-hour perspective that we still are trading above this zone. We still have our H4 structure drawn in, and we can see that last week we had this fake breakout. So the market broke out impulsively and retraced back into the structure impulsively. After that, we can see that the market created this. We'll go down to an H1 chart to have a look at it properly. The market created this head and shoulders pattern, and then the move that we capitalized on was on the 15-minute chart. Let me show you. We had this double top over here. The market then broke this level here impulsively and came back to retest on this green 15-minute candle, which is where we set our sell limit order with our stops above this high, with a 1 to 3 risk reward. Where is that? 3.0. There we go. And yeah, this was the trade that we capitalized on last week from this head and shoulders pattern. But anyway, let's not go too far. Let's go back onto our H4 chart. So the next move that we're looking at is this potential head and shoulders. Let me just remove all of these drawings here. The next move that we are looking for is this potential head and shoulders pattern with this left shoulder here, this head here, and now we are about to create a right shoulder. So we can already see that we created this hectic wick candle last week, and that is something to already start looking for a shorting opportunity. I think that this week will be filled in. Probably we will get a touch of like a recent an actual touch of these body closes here, and that's where we'll be looking for our shorting opportunity, hopefully down to these lows here. Click. So the next market that we're going to get into is AUDJPY, and the reason why we still have analysis on here is because we still do have an open trade on this pair. So our analysis from last week, we saw that the market created this high here and then created this consolidation, this ascending type pattern, and came to retest this high. And in this zone here, the market left for a period of time, created this support level here, and came back, and we took this entry actually on the H1 chart. We saw this ascending type pattern into our previous high. So going forward, what are we looking for on AUDJPY? Let's go back to the H4 chart, and we'll see that the market is actually retracing to our most recent support level, now gonna turn to resistance. So this is essentially the area that we will be looking for another shorting, or well, a scale in opportunity on our previous trade down, hopefully to first of all hit targets on this position, and then what we'll actually do is probably look to hold and see how far this position runs. But this is definitely an area that we're going to look to scale in this trade that we've already got running. So the next pair that we're going to get into is GBPJPY, and we can already see that we still do have our structure marked out from last week. We still are paying attention to this previous neckline swap zone area that will now be acting as resistance, and we still have our ascending type pattern still drawn in because it is still valid. So going forward, what we'll be looking for in this market is we want to see the sellers continue to drive this market down. So we'll be looking at this zone here that did act as resistance here. We can see this big rejection, this big wick out of this area here, and the market did break through and break back through. So we want to see some type of head and shoulders pattern forming in this area. What would invalidate our trade would be if we see a break above these highs, so that this is just a larger corrective structure and the price is not ready to continue to trend down or to reverse this trend. So going forward, we want to take this as a sign, because we know that the characteristics of an uptrend is a market creating higher highs and the market creating higher lows, as we can see here. And most recently, price created a first lower low, so we want to see that lower high. If we do get this lower high in this area, possibly here, then we know that there is a potential reversal of this trend and we could start to see a downtrend. Most of the time we don't want to be the first sellers in the market at the beginning of a trend, but this seems like a good place to start looking for a trade given this impulsive move from the sellers last week. So we'll definitely be looking in this area for a short trade. Hopefully our end targets or our final targets will be at the bottom of this corrective structure in this support zone here. And that's our GBPJPY trade for next week.